Welcome to the Bourbon Husband Podcast. I'm your host, Daniel Bradley Jr., and welcome to the second episode, The Second Pour. Today we have our very first guest on the show, none other than my boy, my best friend, my best man, the infamous Chris Bibbins. Welcome to the show, bro.
Good to
Appreciate you having it.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
Absolutely. Welcome to the show. I'm glad to have you on. Man, if those of you who don't know Chris, he works at the dealership with me at Bilko Automall. That's where I met him, and he's a big part and a big reason why I got into bourbon in the first place. But man, tell him a little bit about yourself.
Well, like Daniel was saying, worked together at the dealership there, Bilko Automall. Been there a little over 10 years, and met Daniel back 2017, and kind of took him under my wing when he first started in sales with us. And from the very first day that he started working there, we just been, two peas in a pod as far as friends go. And, a lot of the same interests. And like he was saying, got you, I guess, more or less interested in bourbon.
Absolutely.
From Maker's Mark, as Daniel was talking about on the first episode, his first pour being Maker's Mark. And the reason for that was what got me into it probably about 10 years ago. As Daniel was saying on the episode of the first pour, he's an ambassador for Maker's Mark, and so is my brother. And about 10 years ago, he got his golden ticket tour at Maker's Mark Distillery. Yep. And I got to go with him on that tour and see the whole bourbon making process, and from start to finish, and learned a little bit about it there. And that's kind of where I got started in it as well. And so when I was talking to Daniel about it one day, we had a pour over at the house, I believe.
Yep.
When you had came over one time, and it just kind of grew from there. So
Absolutely, dude. You got me started. I've drank bourbon before, as I'm sure you had.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
And,
but growing up, all you hear about is like Jim Beam, Jack Daniels.
Yep.
And that's all you really know. And so until I had gone on that tour at Maker's Mark, I didn't really understand anything about what it was all about.
Right.
And when you first walk into a liquor store and you look at the bourbon section, it can be a little overwhelming, because you don't know anything about anything.
You're clueless.
You're clueless, and you don't understand what the difference in one is and the other. And if you've just grown up that way, you hear just like everybody else say, well, one bourbon's exactly the same as the other. And they feel like all bourbon tastes the same. It burns going down, and that's just what it is. But it couldn't be farther from the truth. So
No, not at all. That's the thing, dude. You were talking about it, Jim Beam, Jack Daniels. Dude, I remember crushing some of this stuff, not enjoying it, right? I was young, I was drinking, but it's different now.
It's not meant to do that, really.
No, it's not.
That's the redneck way of just slamming it back and not taking the time to enjoy what's in that glass. That's not, I promise, that's not what those distillers are thinking of when
not at all.
When they're crafting that, and it takes that long to age for somebody to just knock it back like that.
No, I agree completely. And I was, on the first episode, I kind of touched on it, and part of the reason I wanted to do this show was to get a lot of people that may be bourbon connoisseurs, passionate people that are passionate about bourbon. I want to conversate with them, because unless you know somebody, friends, family,
sure,
that's into bourbon, you're really not having these conversations unless a couple things. You're at a release at a liquor store, you're going on a bourbon hunt, or you see someone with a bourbon t-shirt or something, or a distillery or a label t-shirt. So or you walk in a house of a friend you didn't know was into bourbon. There you go.
Sure, yeah, and then all of a sudden it's like, wait, you're into bourbon too? And then it just strikes a conversation.
You know what it reminds me of?
So,
and there's not nothing embarrassing about it, right? It's not that bourbon lovers are hatting or anything.
Right.
But unless you know somebody's into bourbon, you're not having that conversation. It reminds me a lot of like pro wrestling fans, right? I'm a pro wrestling fan.
Yeah.
Unless you know somebody else that's a pro wrestling fan, until you're not.
It's kind of awkward when you just walk up to somebody and say, "Hey, are you into wrestling?"
Yeah, are you into bourbon? You know
Like,
what I mean?
what are you talking about, weirdo?
Yeah, exactly.
It just doesn't come up in normal
Agreed.
conversation. So
Agreed. By the way, R.I.P. the Hulkster, Hulk
Oh,
Hogan. Yeah, I hated to
Gosh.
see that. But
that's bad. I was on vacation a couple weeks ago, and Ozzy Osbourne and the Hulkster
Yeah.
died the same week. It's just kind of like,
yeah, it's you just never know. It was a shot. But yeah, dude, I'm again pumped that you're my first ever guest.
yeah,
Right, and
I'm excited about it, man. I'm
it
excited.
should be. You should be my first guest.
I'm excited for where the show's going to go and who all you're going to have on here. I know you're going to have some different political figures locally, probably, that you're going to be talking to on here. Some people in the community that, like I said, many of y'all may not realize that they're into bourbon as well. I think there's a few athletes that you've talked to
Yep, absolutely.
that
We
are
got
going to
that
be
lined
coming
out.
on that you've already gotten a commitment from. And again, he wants to make it a show where you can talk about anything and everything, life situations and goals, and everybody's got them. We're just regular people, and
Sell
so
cars.
is everybody else.
Yep, exactly. We go to work, we sell cars, come home to our families,
Yeah.
sit down, have a nice pour,
That's
and
it.
it's a part of life. It's a part of our culture, our daily lives. But I told y'all in the last episode, right off the rip, on every episode, I'm going to have a bottle displayed, and we're going to have a pour up front. So we're going to go ahead and get into this. We'll talk more about bourbon. We'll talk more about us here in a little bit. But this bottle is very unique, and it is a single barrel Select Knob Creek. But I'm going to let Chris get into it because he brought the bottle today.
Yeah.
So
The bottle that I wanted to go with today is one that I had actually picked up a couple weeks ago. Like Daniel was saying in the first episode, you were talking about there's lots of different kinds of bourbon as far as like what genre of bourbon it is. Is it a small batch? Is it a single barrel? Is it bottled in bond? Is it barrel proof? The single barrel Select Knob Creek, it technically isn't marked as a barrel proof, but it might as well be, because there's a lot of cask strength bourbons out there that come in at a lower proof than what this one is.
Yeah.
This one's actually 120 proof, and as far as its age, the regular Knob Creek 9-year carries that 9-year age statement, and so does the regular Knob Creek single barrel. The single barrel selects can actually be anywhere from 9 to 15 years old. So this one doesn't carry an age statement, but they put some information on the bottom of the bottle, which is kind of cool. This one was specifically selected for Virginia ABC stores, and it shows a little bit of the barrel info on the bottom as well, which I always think is cool. Bourbon nerds, the more information you can give us about what we're about to try out, the better. So, like, this one was in warehouse Q on floor 5, Rick number 4, and it was barreled on September 2nd of 2015, and it was selected by Virginia ABC stores on December the 4th, 2024. So this one comes in at 9 years, 3 months, and 2 days, if you want to get real specific about it. So not much past their regular 9-year release, but like I say, this one was hand selected from a single barrel by Virginia ABC, so it should be
absolutely.
pretty daggone good, I would imagine.
Yep.
I've had a couple Knob Creek single barrel 9 years in the past, and they always blow me away. Had a couple over the last 4 or 5 years. It's been a little while, and when I seen this one, when you get a store pick like that, I mean, there's only so many bottles that they selected from that particular barrel that's out there, period. So it's a little different than a small batch offering like your Maker's Mark that Daniel was talking about in the first episode, where you might have, thousands and thousands of bottles that all come from the same batch mingled together to make that taste profile.
Let's get that pop right here, by the way,
A moment. A single barrel is way different, especially when it was a single barrel select. There may have been somewhere in the neighborhood of, 160 to 220 bottles possibly that they got from that barrel. And that's it. That's the only bottles that will ever be like that one right there again.
So here's the thing. We could sit here and, it's not like your small batches or anything like that, because when you have a private select, store select, there's many different names it goes by, but when you have that, you're never going to taste another bottle like it.
Yeah, it may be very similar, but it will
but it'll never match
exactly the same.
Right, and that's why I love store picks. Anytime I see it, I try to grab it.
Sure, especially if it's a brand that you already know that you dig kind of what their vibe is on their profile.
Now,
so
this one came from our Bluefield, Virginia ABC, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Bluefield, Virginia ABC store. They do several barrel picks throughout the year. Most of the time, I can go in and find several of them. They'll do several from Elijah Craig. I've seen some from Woodford Reserve, the Knob Creeks. So it's always something cool to check out. It's just something different.
Of course, absolutely. Well, brother, you've ran through it. And by the way, like I said, we've had tons of Knob Creeks, and everything that comes out of that distillery is I
dig the profile that they go for.
Yeah, absolutely.
The 9-year, I've had the 12-year. Of course, like we said, the single barrels. I haven't been able to find a 15-year or an 18-year. Those are extremely hard to come by. Very limited allocation when you find those, but eventually,
the ryes are pretty good too.
Yeah, Knob Creek rye.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. So, well, if you want to do the honors, let's get that popping.
Let's pop this.
Let's have a pour.
Let's pop this thing. Let's see, ready, folks? American
whiskey. We'll let that air out for a moment before we pour that. But I'm really excited to try this. We haven't had this yet, so
no.
This is never the first time.
Never had a single barrel select
from
Knob Creek. Just the regular 9-year single barrel.
You're welcome. The first time I have a guest on, which happens to be my boy, we're going to try a bourbon together we never had. So
yeah, pretty cool. And then
it's going to be very unique.
Break it down.
Of course, absolutely. So. Man, we've while that's aerating and everything, we've had a ton of bourbons we've tried for the first time together, and I always love breaking it down with somebody. Like, I can sit there and everybody gets something a little bit different, but I believe you and I, for the most part, have gotten the same profiles. Nose, palate, finish, all of that stuff on most everything we've tried together. It's
when it comes to like some of the stuff that I enjoy, kind of along the same lines of you as barrel proof kind of stuff, just because it imparts so much more flavor and stuff that when you start getting into small batch stuff and stuff that's a little lower proof, it seems like everything's a one-noter and you can't pick out but a couple of flavors, which to me is kind of a little bit boring. Right. And part of what you enjoy, like what it's about, is enjoying that pour, dissecting what kind of flavors you're getting out of it, what you like, what you don't like. And for me, I lean a little bit more towards a higher rye bourbon.
Yep.
Some people are complete opposite and lead towards one that's a little bit more of a wheated bourbon because of the sweetness. But I like a little bit of that spice. I like a little bit of the burn with just a little sweetness in there. And the more complex you get, the better off it is. And you tend to get that with stuff that's higher proof.
Absolutely. So, I'm in the same boat. I love, I like wheated bourbons. I like to get that, those sweet profiles out of certain bourbons. But I'll tell you, dude, when I'm having a bourbon, and again, we talked about it earlier, this ain't something you just knock back. This is something you sip on, you enjoy.
And it's a celebration. It's a celebration of friendship. It's a celebration for special things that happen in your life, to make good moments better.
Yep.
Not to sit here and get plastered.
No.
For one, it costs too much. I mean, I'm not, I mean, this bottle here, I mean, it wasn't the top end that I've paid, but it was certainly not the bottom either.
Right, of
I mean,
course.
this is priced right. I think this was a little over $60.
Yep. And MSRP on it, I think, is what, in the 50s?
Right
It's something
right
like
at.
that.
This
So
was just a
secondhand,
little
you
bit
didn't
over.
get it. Right, you didn't overpay that much
Yeah.
for it. Well, let's get that pour going, brother, and
Yeah.
let's
Let's get a little pour and let this thing swirl up a little bit and see what we can get. Gotta love that sound.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, I like their label and their bottle design on Knob Creek too. A lot of things has got to do with marketing and stuff when you look at these different bottles, and you'll notice a different shape to all of them, and you'll see many more bottles on the show.
So I'll say this: I think Knob Creek bottles are probably in the top 5 for me.
Yeah.
When I'm looking at my shelf, which you guys will see eventually, but
that bottle is just aesthetically
yeah,
pleasing.
it is. Especially this,
It catches
the
your
black
eye.
and the gold. I love
really,
that label.
I really love the design. I like how they do the wax around it as
Yeah.
well. Kind of similar to Makers, but not quite as heavily dipped in that wax. But
So
the seal that you break, that's
real
I
quick,
like
let's
it.
go over this line. You know, this distillery. You got Knob Creek, Baker's, Booker's, and
Basil Hayden.
Basil Hayden. Yeah.
Yeah.
Going to be
Jim
honest.
Beam Distillery.
Yep.
Yeah. Jim
Obviously,
Beam
you got all
products.
your Jim Beam products, but now I'm going to preface this out there. You know, I'll never down a bourbon on this show or anything, but we have had the Basil Hayden. We are not fans.
Just regular Basil Hayden.
It's not. No, there's some other things out there that are good from it, but
Not that it just like turns you completely off.
right.
But it was just like, for the price that they expect for a normal release, just their run-of-the-mill entry-level Basil Hayden, not the toasted, not anything like that, just regular Basil Hayden. The price point for what you get is a big, big letdown
Yep. Agreed.
in flavor and proof, just the whole thing. Would I drink it again? If that was the only thing somebody had, and I'm not going to turn down something that somebody would offer me if I was a guest at their house
Right.
for a cookout or whatever it might be, but it would not be my first choice.
Yeah.
By far.
Agreed. I'm with you 100%. But I've had the Bookers. I haven't had anything Bakers, but I've had a few bottles of tried a few bottles of Bookers,
Yeah.
and you know that's been pretty good stuff every time I tried. I think the one I have is right at 129 proof.
Yeah.
But it's really good stuff. That's got a really good color, a dark
It does.
oaky
It's
color.
a very,
very dark color.
very dark copper color. And you'll notice a lot of times with younger whiskeys or bourbons that are a little lower proof, not as much age on them, there'll be a little bit of a lighter color, like a more of a golden type
Yeah.
color. So when you get something that's a little dark like that, you know it's either one going to be high proof or have a little age on it. And like we said, this one came in at 9 years, 3 months, and 2 days.
Yeah, there you go. It's got a really good body. The legs are just flowing down the glass of these beautiful Glencairns, which I gotta say,
It's sticking.
yeah, absolutely.
I'm kind of curious to see what the viscosity of it's going to be as far as the mouthfeel. Is it going to be thin? Typically with some of the higher proof stuff, it's going to have a little thicker mouthfeel.
Yeah, absolutely.
With that coats your whole palate, and you can really dissect some of those flavors out of it. Those are typically more the ones I enjoy, but
Let's see what this is bringing on the nose.
I love the color of this though.
Oh Lord, yeah, that's really good. I'm getting for sure that almost like rye spice oak,
Yeah.
very charred oak.
Right. You can tell it's spent some time in the
Yeah,
barrel
it's
from
aged
from the
for the
oakiness.
color, the oakiness on the. You get your classic little bit of vanilla in there, but
Little toffee.
maybe a little bit of nuttiness. And I'm getting a little bit of floral notes. I'm getting a little bit, Four Roses single barrel, like a dark cherry, a little bit of floral.
Kinda. Let that open up just another minute.
Because in a second
I think I'm getting a little bit of like definitely the sweetness there, but I'm getting a lot of like a roasted peanut.
I was going to.
Jim
That's
Beam
nuttiness.
leans into the nuttiness. Just kind of like you would expect, like roasted peanuts with cinnamon and some of that sweetness, maybe some vanilla and caramel. It's got a real nice nose.
Yeah,
not real heavy for 120 proof. I'm not getting
really
like a lot of alcohol, ethanol, like burning my nose as much as you'd expect.
I'm not getting no peppery or anything like that. I'm getting it's just that charred, oaky. Dude, yesterday we had a glass of that Knob Creek 9 years, so kind of very similar actually, just a little bit stronger. A
little bit more age and more proof. The regular Knob Creek 9 year comes in at 100 proof,
100 on flat,
and that's their small batch. So. They're making that one consistent. So you get that regular Knob Creek 9 year, they're all going to taste similar, almost to the exact, everything.
But, I mean, dude, like I said, most of the stuff comes out of the Jim Beam distillery is really consistent.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
It's really hard for me to sit here and say I haven't had really good stuff. I mean, your simple Jim Beam Black Label.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
It's pretty decent for what it is, but
yeah, there's a lot of stuff out there that when they got their baseline stuff from a distillery, and then you've got your different versions, like we were talking about all the different Knob Creeks and all that stuff. They're going to have some similarities, but it seems like as you go up the line, one is just a step higher than the other. Like takes what you like about the base
and elevates
it to another level, and you're like, wow. And it really goes
that was
to show
the so give you an example of that was the Elijah Craig Toasted Barrel.
Oh yeah,
dude, that just took it
from
to
the
a
small
new level
batch to the toasted barrel. They
and
finished
that
it
barrel
in the
proves,
second barrel that had already been used as a barrel finish for several months, and it really just, if you would taste them side by side, that's just they're not.
It elevates.
Yeah, it elevates.
It just elevates.
And I mean, that's what people don't understand. What I was going back to, if you're not into it, if you've not experienced it, and you're one of the type people that think that all bourbon just tastes the same and all whiskey's just whiskey.
It does.
Folks, I tell you, there wouldn't be 300 different ones out there if they were all the same. There are nuances that you can pick up, and there are plenty of differences, and until you would taste them side by side, you'd never know that or be able to pick up on it. So
tell me if you get a little bit of citrus on that nose.
My favorite thing about it is just trying different ones and saying, how can they do that?
Yeah.
It is the same process, but so much science goes behind it.
Well,
to get
from
the
the
different
tree,
flavors.
from the
That's
oak,
the interesting
from the
part.
tree, from the grains, from how it's the mash bill.
Yeah, I get
everything.
some citrus out of that now a little bit.
It's opening up with some citrus.
Yeah.
I think it's time to see what this brings on the palate.
Yeah,
folks, the first ever toast here on the Bourbon Husband podcast.
Cheers, bro.
Cheers. It's bringing some heat.
Yeah, it's
really good heat.
Definitely. That is pretty.
That's good.
That's pretty spectacular.
Yeah, that's really good bourbon.
I get that nuttiness, but I get the heat.
The heat, but the heat's not a cinnamon pepper. That heat is like it's just bringing that oaky, charred rye. It's got a rye spice to it.
Definitely, but of course it's going to have some heat. You'd expect that.
It's
from
120.
120 proof. We're not
Yeah.
dumb when we say that, wow, that's bringing some heat. Of course it is. But it's a good type of heat. If you could think like a cinnamon, those fireballs you used to try to hold in your mouth when you were little and see who could hold one in their mouth the longest until it just got
Yep.
really hot. It's that kind of heat, but it dissipates very quick. And
Yep.
then it just has like a real nice Kentucky hug as you take it down.
Absolutely. I
Not
agree.
not
and
let
it's
it-
got a
not
good
that it
finish.
just like burns like the ring of fire, like Johnny Cash would say, but just a good, nice,
Yep.
like
Kentucky hug,
Yeah.
brother. Absolutely.
just that's
Oh,
what it is.
You know, it's got a really good finish. It's not too lingering, but it's got a strong, stapled finish where
And it's got a sweetness.
Opens up
It's
sweetness.
got
I was about to say
sweet
this.
sweet oak on the finish.
you know what? So imagine like a almost like a sweet oak, but I'm getting some kind of candy out of it. Maybe
yeah.
like a candy apple, not
Yep.
sour, but
Yep.
like you
With
go
some
to the
sweet oak
carnival
on the
and
back.
you bite into that
Yep.
coating over the apple.
like a caramel apple.
Yeah, it's really good. So
Yeah. Do you get any kind of like chocolate?
dark chocolate. It's not.
More of a bitter chocolate.
Yeah.
And that's probably some of those oak tannins
Yeah.
coming out. But it's extremely good. man.
Hey, chocolate covered cherry. I get that a little bit. You can get that out of
Maybe
it.
that's part of the citrus
Yeah.
and picking up
Yeah,
a
exactly.
little bit of that those berry notes.
So, by the way, when we rate, I read it, I believe Makers 2.6, 2.7, I can't remember. It's a staple, and it's going to be a staple because it's what got me started. But by the way, when we rate, I think average is 2.5.
2.5.
And below 2.5 is below average. Above average is 2.6 or above. And then I think excellent goes into what, 3.5? It's something like that.
Maybe
out of
something
5.
like that. You know, when you're
We don't call it
talking about
5
like
stars. We call it 5 barrels.
Yeah, we call it 5 barrels.
So
But
that's
2.5 being right in the middle is definitely above that.
it's above that. I'm going to give my rating here in a minute, but I just want y'all to know the rating system that we go by. So
It's balanced.
well balanced. It brings the heat on the palate, but it opens up with some sweetness on the finish. You get a little bit of sweetness on the palate too, but I think that's the bitter chocolate, the dark chocolate, the citrus, maybe cherries.
Sure.
You're getting nuttiness, nose, palate,
Definitely.
finish all over the
Yeah,
place.
the nuttiness
but like
is like
roasted roasted
that's
peanuts
that.
or-
Like if you've ever walked by and seen like
roasted almonds,
or
dude,
roast,
any-
or like if you've ever been somewhere where they make those like hot like the candied pecans.
that's
They're
it. That's
toasted
yeah,
in the sugar
exactly.
and
Yeah.
the brown sugar and
Yes.
cinnamon with the nuttiness there. That's almost.
Hey, you
what
get a little bit of leather on this too.
That's what you get.
A little bit of leather and brown sugars there. That's part of the sweetness on
Yeah.
it. But I get nuttiness, roasted peanuts, roasted almonds, roasted pecans, the candy coated pecans, candy coated apple, cherry, dark chocolate. So it's really good.
It's got a lot going on.
It does. Now, so it's a very well balanced but complex bourbon at
Yes.
the same time. We've had bourbons, and we talked about it before, that are all over the place in a bad way.
Yeah.
This
like,
has a lot going on in a good way. It's
Yeah.
consistent and balanced.
It's very,
Right.
very good as far as that. Just like syncopation of everything that's going on. I'm happy I got that.
Yeah, me too.
I'm gonna try to milk some of that for a good while because that, in comparison to some other stuff I've had recently, is way above.
That's really up there.
I've got a question, and
Okay.
this might be something for possibly a later show that you might want to do. Because this, of course, is going to be just like we've talked about. It's going to be just a little bit different than the regular Knob Creek single barrel. But what this reminds me a ton of is one of the ones that's like one of our favorites that we talk about quite a bit. Wild Turkey Rare Breed.
Rare breed. I was about to say it. and I'm sitting here looking at it. I keep looking at it for that reason.
You might wanna
Blind taste. Yep.
those side by side.
Because it's what, 116.8?
Yeah,
so almost 117.
Yeah.
It's really close.
Very similar in the proof, and I think Rare Breed's aged somewhere between like maybe 6, 7 years, 8.
Correct.
Something.
So this is a bare minimum 9.
Yeah,
Could be up to 15.
So it reminds me a ton of Rare Breed is what I'm getting, like that complexity, that heat, that proof, that balance. You might want to compare those maybe on a later episode, maybe when I'll be back as a guest another time.
Absolutely. You'll be back.
That would be a really cool comparison. But that's what I'm picking up.
Yeah, dude, I kept on looking at my Rare Breed over there on the shelf. I'm like,
Yeah. And, you've got a few things over here I haven't tried either.
Yep. So we've just got to keep adding to the collection. Be
a few things. I've not tried that Jefferson Reserve Twin Oak.
It's really good.
I've not tried the 1792 Full Proof, I don't think. But yeah, we'll get into some of those. I've picked up a few here lately and added to my collection. My wife is probably, well, she supports it. She's a good wife,
right,
in that respect. But I'm kind of running out of space. I've taken over the.
Well, brother, listen, I'll keep some over here if you need some storage space.
I've taken over the china cabinet, and it's full at the moment of different ones, and there's a lot of them I've had for years that I haven't opened because I'm waiting for a special occasion or just haven't had the opportunity. I'm not one that likes to have a ton open at the same time.
Well, right, because
and some of them are so hard to find and allocate.
You don't want to open
I just enjoy looking at it to know that I've got it in my collection. That's part of it too. Like I say, we don't do this to just sit back and get hammered. It's an enjoyment. It's a collection. We collect this and are as enthusiastic about this as some people are about collecting baseball cards or Matchbox cars. This is American history right here, and you're tasting history in a glass, and it's meant to bring people together for good times, and it's an awesome hobby to get into.
Agreed. And there's so many different jobs that go into this. That so many people out there that
when you think about it,
goes into it, from our farmers all the way to distiller. It doesn't matter what it is, right? It creates jobs.
Forklift drivers, truck drivers,
everything. Agriculture is a big part of this.
Huge part of the economy. Everything in this, from the corn, the oak, the coopers who build the barrels, the people that work at the distilleries. I mean, it's a huge part of the economy.
Agreed.
And it's American history. This is America's spirit. So what better one to get into collecting if you're wanting to get into something.
Agreed. And Chris, there's going to be so many things we try together on this show. I'll go ahead and say Chris will probably be the most repetitive guest I have on the show, but he's my bourbon brother, so I mean, it is what it is, and we're going to share a lot of pours, a lot of toasts together, like we always have through the years. But
yeah, it brings out, I mean, it's weird to say, but it almost like deepens a friendship when you have something like this in common. I can't say enough good things about the journey so far. I mean, I love going out of town, hitting different places and different stores I've not been in to see what they've got, to see where they're pricing stuff. Is it too high? Is it too low? And sometimes you're going to overpay for that bottle.
And that's okay.
That you've been looking for the collection, because you never know when you're going to see it again. It's awesome to get them at MSRP when you can find it, but I've overpaid for several bottles that are in my collection, and those are some of the ones that I haven't opened.
Right.
Because I don't know when
You
I'm
don't
going
wanna
to
pull
find
the
it
trigger on
ever
it.
again. You know, so
Agreed.
it's just a cool thing. It's just
is.
a cool thing to be a part of.
And there's a lot of bottles we're still on the hunt for.
Oh yeah, there are different releases
Yeah.
that come out each year that you're always on the hunt
Yeah.
for, and that's part of what makes it fun too. I'm a sucker for Elijah Craig barrel proof picks. They got 3 of them that come out a year, and I was lucky enough last year to get all 3 from January, May, and September.
Right.
The A, B, and C batches from last year, I got all those, and I found the A batch this year so far. So right now, I'm currently on the hunt for Elijah Craig B525. If anybody out there watching this finds it somewhere, please let me know in the comments, or pick it up for me, and I will pay you for it, because that's something I'm after every year.
Tip them too, dude. Little bird dog fee.
Yeah, a little bird dog fee. I might even give you a pour of it if you find it for me.
Exactly. So you never know. But and by the way, those Elijah Craig barrel picks, that A batch we just had, that A125 was fantastic.
Yeah.
I had that the last time we were over at the house, at your house.
Yeah.
It was absolutely delicious. But touch on something he was talking about, deepens to friendship and relationship. You know, there's a documentary out there. I don't copyright whatever, but it's called Neat. And if
One of the best documentaries I've watched.
and not because it's bourbon, it's truly a excellent documentary.
It's called Neat, the Story of Bourbon.
Yep. And so there's a saying in there, and there's some stories in there that you need to follow. We're not going to get into the stories themselves, but, you know, old Freddie said it himself.
Freddie Johnson, he's in the Bourbon Hall of Fame. He's a tour guide at Buffalo Trace Distillery. I'm not sure if he's still there. If
I
he's
think he may have
now,
retired. I'm not
but
sure. We'll have to look.
He's an absolute.
I know. I'd
legend.
love to meet him. I would love to meet him.
I would love to just talk to him for 10 minutes.
Yeah. But he said it himself. You know, bourbon, you know, people talk about, you were talking about sitting on these bottles.
Yeah.
But when I'm around friends and family, if I got a really good bottle of bourbon over there on the shelf, I ain't holding back. You know, I'm going to have that poured with you. It's meant to be
enjoyed.
shared with friends and family.
They're meant to be enjoyed with friends and family at the moment, because there will always be more old bottles of bourbon being made. And so, like I said, not to copyright or whatever, but to quote him, but, you know, we are the fragile part in all of this, you know. So
This is what it's about. Me sitting here with you, you coming over to the house, down here in the bourbon room, on the Bourbon Husband podcast.
hanging out.
Guys,
having
let
a
me
good
tell you something.
conversation.
He's sitting right here. We're talking about bourbon. Every time, this is exactly what our conversations consist of when we sit down and have a pour of bourbon.
Oh, yeah.
Every single time. We don't talk about work.
100%.
We don't talk about what's going on in the world. We may talk about our frustrations with the Dallas Cowboys or something like that. We're not going to get to that today, Jerry Jones.
Jerry Jones sucks.
But regardless, we talk about bourbon, and I don't know, it brings us in that moment. We get to enjoy something, some history, some art. There's art behind this bottle.
Absolutely.
Every bottle, there's art behind it.
There is.
and there's story.
The amount
a story
of time,
behind
the amount of time,
every bottle of bourbon.
the
out
amount
there.
of time it takes to, from the time they put that clear, basically white dog or moonshine, whatever it is,
Yep.
whatever you want to call it at the time, when it goes in the barrel until it sets and ages. You can't rush it. You have to close that barrel, and whatever comes out, you hope for the best.
Absolutely.
And the guys doing it now are doing it by time-honored tradition from generation to generation to generation back. And it's just an awesome thing.
It is.
It really is. If you haven't tried bourbon before and you want to, I mean, I see absolutely zero wrong with it if you do it in the right way. Doing it responsibly is the the key word there.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
But it's not just about the drinking part of it, right? Because I would say, like you said in the beginning of the show, it's not meant to be knocked back, right?
It's not meant to sit here and kill this bottle and get hammered.
Right.
That is not what it's about.
And it's not meant to sit here and just knock it back.
No.
But I will say this. It's not just about drinking responsibly. There's a lot of money that goes into this, right? And, there's times I've purchased a bottle of bourbon and I'm like, should I have done that? But it brings me joy. It's not because I'm drinking. It's because, hey, I get to sit here and sit with my family and have a conversation with them, and I
can't wait until they can come over and I can enjoy it with them.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? I'm the exact same way, man.
Yep.
There's been those times when I'm like, should I have done that? Should I have spent money on that? I really probably shouldn't have done it right now. It's been a little bit of a slow month. I haven't sold that many, whatever. But it's something that brings you joy. It's something you can share with friends and family.
Yep.
One of the things I love is when my brother comes in for Christmas. Every Christmas or Thanksgiving, whatever holiday it might be that he comes in for, he always brings a bottle. And normally it's something that he can get locally around Kansas City, where he's at. And I'll bring over a bottle of something that I've picked up recently, and we'll crack them open. We'll have a pour of it together and talk, and it's just, it brings it brings families together. It brings friends together, and I would hate to not have the memories I've got without it. You know what I'm saying? Not that you couldn't have good memories without it, but it's just
everybody has.
Like I said, it just
everybody has their something.
Yeah.
Right, and this is our something.
This is our something.
It is. I like to do other things, right? I told y'all the most important thing to me is, my family. And I enjoy playing golf,
and I enjoy fishing.
But this is different. I can integrate this with everything I do in my life, for the most part, and it's just something I love doing. It's something I love enjoying. Yeah. And every bottle is different.
Yeah,
you get something
they really
different.
Are, regardless of what people think who may not be into it. They are so different.
I have watched us take
They're so different.
people that were not into bourbon and get them to sip on it with us for a few times, a few different pours, and
they get it.
They get it.
They get it immediately.
How good does that make you feel, knowing that we took somebody, and we didn't do it, but
they enjoy it in the same way.
Yeah. And we're talking about one particular person here, and that's our boy Kevin.
I understand.
Yeah.
But since that time, I can't tell you how many times he's told me that his son comes over and they enjoy a pour together of something he's picked up somewhere, and some of them they end up liking really well. Some of them they don't like really well. But they've got an infinity bottle going.
Yeah, just started mine. Have you got one?
I don't have one, but they've got an infinity bottle going. They take the last little bit in each bottle that they try, and they pour it into one decanter, and then when it gets full, then you've got something that's your own unique blend of stuff that you've tried, and then you can always keep adding to it, and that's something they're doing, which is just, it's cool to hear it.
It's cool.
When I hear his son came over and they said Justin came over and we tried this after dinner last night and we played some Switch on the new game I got or whatever, and it's good times.
It is, and you said it a minute ago. You said it enhances the experience.
That's what
the moment.
That's all it does.
Yep.
That's all it does.
So, dude, I appreciate you. I mean, we're gonna finish this off here in a second, but I appreciate you coming on the show.
Yeah, man, it's been a blast.
It has. Been a blast. By the way, we're gonna sit here for a little bit after the show and enjoy another pour. This was really good, so I appreciate you bringing it.
Super good. We'll have it again.
Absolutely. This is the second pour ever on the Bourbon Husband podcast, and I couldn't be more proud that the first guest is you, bro.
Yeah.
Like it had to be you.
I really appreciate it, man.
Absolutely.
I was excited to come on and do it.
Absolutely. This is awesome. And there's so much that goes. We talked about it. And I can overspill, give you a mouthful about what bourbon is, what goes into it. But I'm just hoping that I can pull some bourbon lovers out of the woodworks. Not that they're having, but please, if you've ever sat down and enjoyed bourbon, if you have an experience, a moment that you have with your friends or family, here, present, gone, let us know. I want to know about that. I want to have these conversations with you in the comments. Message me. Some of you are going to come on the show. I'm going to find some, I've already found a couple people that I've known for many years. I did not know was into bourbon. I got a couple local business owners from my hometown.
Right.
I'm not going to name drop them, but I've already agreed to have them on the show. I never knew. I grew up with these people. We were tight. Never knew, dude. They were into bourbon.
It's like I don't understand why more people don't talk about it.
Right. Agreed.
And I get it. I mean, look, there are people out there probably who have an issue with drinking alcohol. I mean, let's just face it. There's people out there that don't know how to cut it off or say no, and they're what you call addicted or whatever. That's
right.
The reason they've got places like Alcoholics Anonymous. They may be ashamed to talk about it. They can't handle it, whatever. In no way am I degrading those people or saying that there's anything wrong with that.
Right, and here's the thing.
The whole thing is you absolutely, because this can become that way. It can become an addiction, and there's a lot of people who struggle with alcohol addiction, but you have to have some kind of self-control, and that's the absolute number one key is moderation, and like we talked about, just doing it for the enjoyment.
Yes.
It's a blessing to be able to have this bottle. It's one of life's great pleasures.
It is, and I'm
truly
blessed.
Is.
And we work really hard, Chris. We've been in the car business together for a long time.
Yep.
And the car business is very rewarding, but it takes a lot out of you.
It does.
You sacrifice.
It does.
But let me tell you something. Like when I get to go to work and I talk about this, I talk about bourbon, and I'm talking to my colleagues about the show that we decided to start up here, and I say again, I'm going to go back to my amazing wife, Rachel. If it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be sitting here doing this because she pushed me to do this.
Sure, yeah.
But it's what got me started into this, and without the car business, I don't know if I get into bourbon, right? Because I don't meet you, and it's just funny how though that every little thing happens. And when I got into bourbon, truly got into bourbon, became a connoisseur, and become passionate about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's something that me and you. That's I would say 90% of our conversations is about bourbon.
I don't know if I'd say 90%. I mean, we have a lot of conversations about family life.
Right, I agree, but
we have a lot of conversation about family life, work, kids.
But in the middle of our conversations, you're like, "Hey, did you hear about this release?"
Or I felt
right. It happens every time. That's what I mean by it. 90% of the time.
You sent me the Ric Flair bourbon.
The Ric Flair bourbon.
The Wooski.
Yeah. Woo! We're going to have the Ric Flair. But let's finish this off, guys. I'm telling you, dude. There's going to be many, many more episodes with you on the show.
Sure.
This is my best man, ladies and gentlemen. This is my boy. My brother from another mother. Cheers, Vicky. I'm telling you, dude. We've been through ups and downs together for a long time, and you're my brother. You're my bourbon brother. You're my boy. I love you to death, and I appreciate you being the first ever guest here on the Bourbon Husband Podcast.
I appreciate it, man.